Hello and welcome to another edition of Brunswick Today. I'm Jeff Neidert. On today's show, host Robin Bergstrom will be speaking of books. Plus, we'll have a look at last week's jail and bail fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. But first up, with the hot weather rolling around, you won't want to be spending a lot of times in your hot, steamy kitchen. And we'll have some quick and easy recipe tips from the Cooperative Extension Service. Stay tuned.
This is the Medina County Extension Update, brought to you by your local office of the Ohio State University Cooperative Extension Service.
Hello, I'm Janet Graham, County Extension Agent, Home Economics. And with me today is Nancy Hudson, our 4-H Home Economics Program Assistant. We're going to be showing you two quick, easy casseroles. One, a cheeseburger casserole, and the other is a rice casserole. They're really very simple to make. I like this particular recipe because we're going to be making a seasoning mix that you can make up ahead of time and have it tucked away in your cupboard, so when you're tired all you have to do is come home, make your casserole, and it's a quick, easy one skillet meal and very little cleanup since you only have the skillet. Really, this mix is much less expensive than the ones that you buy in the store. I have here 3 mixes. One is a mix that has macaroni in, one has rice in, and one has noodles in it. They cost $1.29. The one that we're going to make today only costs 69 cents and has the same ingredients in it. So let's start, Nancy, and make our casserole, okay? Or maybe, I guess we want to make the mix
You're
first,
going to start with the seasoning mix.
Right.
We start with 1 1/4 teaspoons of black pepper. You'll notice that Janet's putting this in a plastic bag inside of a mixing bowl so that when she's storing it, it'll have all the ingredients ready to store. It also calls for 3 tablespoons of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder. You'll notice that many of these ingredients are ones that you would normally have in your cupboard shelf. Also 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, 1 2/3 cup of non-fat dry milk, 1/3 cup of chopped dried onions, 3 1/3 tablespoons of instant bouillon granules. And you put that into a plastic bag and just shake it around.
Or if you want to, you can put it in a bowl and stir it, but I find this easiest because I even store this in the plastic bag. I find it much simpler, and it's all ready for me when I come home real tired many evenings.
Now, how long will that keep?
This will keep about up to 3 months in the cupboard. Don't put it in the freezer because you'll find that the flavor will change. The onion and garlic powder really changes flavor in the freezer, so you don't really want to put it in the freezer. So now we have our mix all finished. Now let's go ahead and make the cheeseburger casserole. Today we're going to make 2 casseroles using the mix. Nancy has started the cheeseburger casserole. It's really one of my favorites. While the hamburger is browning, you can measure your ingredients, and Nancy already has part of the ingredients measured here. We're actually only going to make half the recipe today. So she has half of these ingredients: 1 1/2 cups of water, 1 cup of macaroni, 1 can of condensed tomato soup, and 1/2 cup of the seasoning mix. Now, after the hamburger is browned, she'll drain off the fat if there is a lot of fat. Do you have a lot of fat there, Nancy?
Oh, a small amount, enough to drain off, I think.
Okay. I'm sure you'll find that your family will really enjoy this recipe. It's really quite tasty. We've made this for different groups when we're serving luncheons, and we've gotten lots of compliments on this particular recipe. The other thing you want to remember is it's really very nutritious. This recipe is going to have all the 4 basic foods in it. It has milk, as you saw me put into the seasoning mix. It has vegetables, which comes in the fruit and vegetable group. It has cheese, which is in the milk group, and then of course it has meat, which is in the meat group. So it's really very nutritious.
Okay, I think we've got this all drained now.
Okay, you want to add all the ingredients. All you do is put everything in at once, and that's what makes it so nice. Nancy says she likes to do things where you just dump, and that's what she's doing, just dumping everything in.
Except for the cheese right now.
Yes, the cheese will go in a little later. You never want to put cheese in at the beginning of the recipe because it will overcook and then it will get stringy and tough. So the cheese will go in at the very last minute.
Remember, we're just making half a recipe, so I'm just using half a can of soup.
Right. You'll just give it a quick little stir so you get everything mixed up, and then you just cook it. Of course, you'll cover it, and then you'll cook it for 20 minutes or until all of the liquid is absorbed in the recipe. Another thing I like about this, you notice we don't have to cook the macaroni ahead of time. It's just like the store mixes that you buy that you can purchase. You're really purchasing just the seasoning, and all of these mixes you have to buy the most expensive ingredient, and that's the meat. Okay, Nancy, so we'll just cover that up and we're all ready to go. While that's cooking then, and for the 20 minutes, you can go ahead and make your salad and dessert if you want one, and then you're ready to serve your family.
Another delicious and easy casserole is made with rice, and Janet will be making this one. Again, you brown the hamburger just as the other one and drain off the fat, which we have already done. And this time we add 3/4 of a cup of rice, 1½ cups of water, and the ½ cup of seasoning mix. And again, we're just making a half recipe here, just as our demonstration. You want to bring that to a boil, stir and cover, and in just 20 minutes your casserole is done. You can see that this is a fast, easy, dump method recipe that's real easy to do. After 10 minutes, if you want to add a vegetable, you'll want to add it in enough time to finish cooking. We'll add the broccoli, which was frozen broccoli that we thawed out. Or if you have leftover vegetables, it would be a good way to use those. And this will cook for 10 more minutes, and then we'll be adding the cheese.
Once your skillet casserole has cooked for about 20 minutes, all that's left to do is add the shredded cheese and serve. If you'd like copies of the recipes, please write to the Ohio Cooperative Extension Service, 144 North Broadway, Medina. Coming up next on our show, it's Speaking of Books.
Welcome to another edition of Speaking of Books, furnished as a service of Reader's Digest condensed books. I'm Robin Bergstrom. Today's spotlight book is set in troubled contemporary Ireland. Claire Arbuthnot, member of an old Anglo-Irish family, grew up in these misty green hills. Now Claire's the charming wife of the youngest member of the British cabinet. But she's been drawn back to the land of her birth by a bond that she refuses to break. Her beloved half-brother Frank is in deadly danger. His sympathy with the goals of the IRA has led him to undercover work for that outlawed organization. But all too soon, the IRA has turned on him, and he must escape a treacherous web of betrayal and revenge. This is the crisis that unfolds at the start of a gripping new novel by Evelyn Anthony called A Place to Hide. It's included in a special illustrated edition in the current volume of Reader's Digest condensed books. Evelyn Anthony is one of England's most popular authors, and readers of condensed books know her work through the recent World War II thriller Voices on the Wind. She lives and writes in an historic Elizabethan manor house in Essex, and she was interviewed there recently by Nigel Begbie, the editor of British condensed books.
I think people might be interested to know about the start of the Anglo-Irish problems.
Oh, goodness, it goes back a very long time. I mean, I was horrified to hear somebody in Ireland describe a family we knew very well who'd come over with William the Conqueror as not Irish, but Normans. I mean, I was amazed and almost in despair that that kind of division could exist. But it does, in some places. The Anglo-Irish really were people who were brought into Ireland after a succession of rebellions which ended in failure, given land, property, and authority, and the Irish who had owned it previously were evicted and turned out. This goes back to Tudor times and also to Cromwell, when, of course, there was a very, very big settlement, a plantation, as they called it, of people from England and Scotland, in order to shift the balance of power away from the, well, all right, the Norman Irish, if you like to call them that, and the native Irish, into a new ruling group. I think that's the best way I can explain it to you without being, you know, going into too many details.
And what people know about, of course, most is the potato famine, which...
Yes, that was an appalling disaster, which actually went on for very many years. And the result of that was that millions of people emigrated from Ireland.
I think one of the most fascinating characters is Tom Reynard.
Oh, he's a lovely character, and do you know, he's quite real. I didn't make him up. Tom Reynard isn't his name, because, of course, I wouldn't use a real name, and the house is in a totally different part of Ireland where I've put it in the book. But I've actually been to the place. He is dead, in fact. And I've walked the fields in the wake of the hunt and seen these amazing stone towers, which are follies, which he had built because he'd been a hunting man all his life, and he was quite sure he was going to come back as a fox, and he wanted a place to get away from the hounds. I mean, I used to think it would make a lovely Christmas story, but I never did it, and then, of course, it made a perfect setting for this.
Is Ireland still as divided between the very rich and the very poor?
I think that in my generation there is still a lot of what I would call class, religious and racial consciousness on both sides. But I think that my children's generation have very little of that feeling and aren't really aware of it at all. I think it's dying very rapidly, and I think it's a very good thing that it is.
A Place to Hide. Evelyn Anthony's tale of a family and a country divided makes compelling reading. Its drama of courage and betrayal is in the same enthralling tradition as the author's earlier book, The Tamarind Seed. Now, this is Robin Bergstrom saying goodbye for this edition of Speaking of Books, furnished by Reader's Digest condensed books. Hope you'll join us again for our next report on books you'll want to read and remember.
I had a really strange experience today. I went to see a house that was advertised for rent, and when I knocked on the door, no one answered.
Were they expecting you?
Yes, I had an appointment, but as I walked down the drive, another lady went to the door and someone greeted her.
What happened then?
I came back and phoned them and was told the house was no longer available.
What? It sounds like you've been discriminated against.
Don't take no for an answer. Call the Discrimination Complaint Service, 621-4525 now.
Were your friends or family arrested last week? Well, don't worry, they were probably arrested for a good cause, the American Cancer Society's Jail and Bail fundraiser. The fun began with arrests taking place at the criminal's home or office. They then were fingerprinted and hauled before the judge of the Kangaroo Court. Now, among the judges this year were Councilwoman Colette Beinecke, former Mayor Stan Umpleby, and reporter Sam Boyer. Let's look in on some of the proceedings.
Bad right off. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. No, that's a biggie.
Do I cry?
Summons of arrest. Whoa, I see here. Chief Crook. This is impersonation if ever I saw one. Yeah, I remember Chief Crook has been erased, and Lois Seaburn's been put in here. Impersonation is very serious. How do you plead?
No contest.
I'm sorry, the court says you weren't. You went back. She's talking back or on. Yes, $1,000 on the guilty. Very good.
Oh, very bad.
And the hat is on, and it's on crooked. And how do you plead to that?
I wasn't told anything else anymore.
$1,000 fine, we accept nothing like that.
Indecent exposure, Your Honor.
Oh, exposure, showing. I see.
I hope to tell Your Honor.
Snaps are on snapped. How many?
At least 2.
Will the bailiff please check how many snaps and buttons are on them, please?
Be careful with your hands, bailiff.
Appears to be 2, Your Honor.
Appears to be good, all right? That's $500 a snap.
Right. She has dangerous weapons on her.
I
Very dangerous.
I noticed that.
I think so.
Earrings, they can really hurt.
That's right.
How do you plead to that?
You better check my game of people with pierced ears.
That's $500 fine on that. Now we'll get down to the serious business. This is what she was really charged with. Her arrest was made at the police station on the charge of being an ex-Marine instead of a former missing 3 Boy Scout lunches. Now, ex-Marine, we all know you can't pass the physical. I hate to tell you this, but I would advise you to get a hold of Mr. Crook and tell him he owes you some money to get on his phone and start giving you some pledges that way, because you aren't going to get $1,000 for that. And impersonating Chief Crook, I don't know how anybody would really do that.
No one.
She's too tall.
No one.
No one takes this place.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? I think that's $2,000 for impersonating the chief.
Okay.
Now we have something further to do that. We have noticed you labored too long in the lobby out there,
That's right.
taking up too much time in the court.
Loitering or littering?
Go.
That's $750. You have
You watched every second, didn't you?
$500. No attorney. $1,000. It's very serious.
And
You have a law agency. Now you've left your job in the lurch over there.
No, I didn't.
You got up and you left this
No, I
city
didn't.
unattended.
I'm sorry that has been taken care of.
No, you're the most important person. You're
I
supposed to be
love
on
you.
this. How
She didn't bring proof, Your Honor. She's guilty.
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 We also see that you have a cauliflower ear from being on the phone too long. And your joint is starting to swell.
Yes.
It's $250 for that. Now, does anyone else have anything? Oh!
Sure, that's the biggie.
By doctor's orders, I don't know. I'm really sorry.
Society function, and this is called kangaroo court. We also witnessed smoking out there, and that's just unheard of.
You want me to bring my doctor's excuse?
No, you should drive. You should drive with you.
She's trying to write you.
$2,000 for that. We take no bribes in our court. That's $600 for the driver.
I didn't drive right.
That.
Not yet.
Yes. Verbal threats.
Threats, oh, we don't have threats on our list yet.
Oh, we've got it now.
Yes, $100 for threats.
You keep trolling this, and I'm not going home today.
You're right.
We didn't know that. I believe we have enough on this victim, do you think?
12,000.
Circumstances. We will send you out to the telephone, and we wish you luck in making how many?
$12,800.
$12,800 in pledges. I really suggest you call Chief Crook for the first pledge.
After the charges were read and fines imposed, the criminals were locked in a jail cell and forced to raise bail by phoning friends and relatives. A total of $9,000 was pledged during the 2-day event. Now remember, if you pledge, be sure to mail in your contributions promptly to support the American Cancer Society. And that wraps up this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition of Brunswick Today.